in fines. No recourse. You know what I'm saying? It's HSBC laundering money for the cartels while Holder and DOJ is sending them weapons. I mean,
it's Iran-Contra all over.
Exactly, but here's the thing too. Like, people think that that's like an isolated incident. No, that's just the one time they got caught. Like, it never stopped. You know what I'm saying? Like, the whole drug money, for whatever they want, and that's one thing. I heard people talk about this anti-immigration, amnesty, and there's a point of that I can see. But at the same time, if we were in the other place in the world in the last 5 or 6 years, like 60,000 people killed in Mexico. Right. That's a war. Any other place in the world, they would be refugees.
Right.
Fleeing a war-torn area, crossing the border. You know what I mean? I mean, as bad as things are here, like, that's what so many Americans don't get. It's like they're willing to risk going through the desert and dying and all of that. I'm not talking about the drug mules and all that. But even then, like, they don't have another. What other option do they have? Stay and fight their cartels that are being funded by our government. So it's a vicious cycle.
Right. So that's why we're like, because once you start chasing one aspect of it, it just comes right back, and it's like we're eating our tails. Like, once we chase one aspect of it, but that's why we just have to say, because we can't only fight it head on. We have to, in my opinion, and I wrote down basically your agenda and put it up on the computer, and basically I think I think what I'm getting from people who are meeting with this group who have been involved in other groups is it's time to expose all that. We don't want to just have people agree with us that the Federal Reserve Bank is bad and then protest one side or the other of immigration reform and and abortion, because I got my own opinions on abortion, but if you don't like abortions, look at what finances all of them too. And if it's all the same. It's all the same. So,
I think that's one part of it is getting people to realize, and especially the ones who are brainwashed with this, liberal fascism, socialist type idealism, that you have control over someone else. You don't. It's just whether it's abortion or gun control, whatever. If you don't like it, don't do it. But that's where your choice ends.
I definitely
can't choose a choice for someone else.
Right.
It's like a lot of the stuff down in Texas with the open carry stuff. These people, the police are arresting on this very thin reasoning of disturbing the peace, and it's just ignorance of the law is no excuse. If these people feel threatened because someone's legally exercising their rights, well, that's their emotional response.
Right.
It has nothing to do
with
the law.
Right.
You have a choice how you emotionally respond to something. Your emotions and your opinions don't grant you authority to curtail or force someone to do or not do an action.
Right.
Whether it's
internal emotions cannot imbue some sort of criminal thing, because then we know what the
that's the thing. There is no rule of law. People say well, if you got rid of the government, it'd be anarchy. What the hell do you think this is? This is anarchy. You know what I mean? Everyone from the president, Eric Holder, all the way down. There is no rule of law.
They say in anarchy, the thing you get up with is the biggest gang wins.
Yeah.
That's what we got. The biggest gang is winning right now. It's the federal government.
Absolutely. And they're using the banking system to fund themselves. And the monopoly on force.
So then we segue that into saying another I always forget this. We were talking about this, Wes. Maxim is those who make the laws must abide by the law. So basically, all we have to do, and I think that this is going to be a big part of what we're doing, is basically showing that whether people agree with the laws or not, the government doesn't do anything but violate the law. They swear to uphold the United States Constitution, which declares that the people are in charge of the money in the government and everything else, and that our rights are God-given, not government-given, and that there are certain things that the government doesn't have any excuse or business even bothering themselves with in regard to what the people are doing.
Right, and I think that's a point a lot of people miss is that all these things the government's doing, it's not in their purview. It's if it hasn't been
Right.
explicitly, given to them in some manner to be a part of, then it's not. They have no business getting involved in gay marriage, cannabis legalization or not. It's none of their business. They were never granted any sort of authority to have any say on any of these points.
It's fraudulent.
Exactly, it's fraud. Go ahead.
You brought up the gay marriage stuff, and I think that's a big just divide. It's a really non-issue. Ain't nobody gonna do anything after the election. They all just gonna divide you up and play with your mind, so you vote this way, that way, or nothing. But if you can get through to them that instead of gay people, whatever, like I don't care, you do what you want, but instead of fighting to get into a crooked system, you're barking up the wrong tree. You should be chopping that tree down instead of trying to get up in it.
Right.
And then
Taxes are illegal.
Yeah, you get both sides of
The
that.
IRS is unconstitutional.
And it's all a tax thing.
The Federal Reserve Bank is unconstitutional. And here's another thing. What we do is we want to get to the truth, so we go down everybody's false, logical, thoughts. So we go, everybody should have health care. Not everybody should have health care. If everybody should have health care, and that everybody should be covered, then we shouldn't even have to have healthcare companies, or we shouldn't even have to have insurance. All we should have to do is walk into a doctor's office or walk into a hospital. If somebody says that they want universal coverage, what easier way is there to have universal coverage? Otherwise, it's just attempting to take control of your body and to monetize your name written on a piece of paper.
Right, and that's the other thing. People, again, the Federals are being the ground zero for all of this.
That's right.
Because, if they were some sort of charity organization, even if they were committing, violating the Constitution, committing fraud, printing money out of nothing, all that, if they were doing that and, again, paying for everyone's health care, if they were just inventing this money and doing things for the people with it, it would still be fraud, but they wouldn't be such assholes about it. You know what I'm saying? They're still bullshitting it, but they're not, and that's just proof. They're not there to do anything to help anyone else.
But that's the thing. If the people control the arbitrary source of money, then most of the people would not be lacking the money to live and function. You see what I'm saying? Basically, so it's obvious that just a small group of people control the money supply because only a small group of people benefit from how the money supply works.
And that's transparent.
Right. So if we abided by the Constitution and the people got to decide the distribution of the money, one would presume that instead of only a few people being able to afford to live, a majority of people would be able to afford to live and only a few would not. Instead of everybody being in debt and very, very minuscule amounts of people controlling the debt that everybody's paying off. Or, what's interest? If this private institution is lending the government from thin air, right.
There's kind of logical discussions, especially I think with the students, because I think Chris and I were talking about before, the things that we're trying to do here may not even be realized for us. The founding fathers put these things in, and they didn't see the results in their lifetime. And we're very late in the game, and all of us know, and that's what we have to help other people realize, is that what you're afraid of is coming either way.
No matter what.
It's already here.
It's already here.
Well, this is the thing. Do something different.
Yeah.
The generations continue to do it, and they did the same thing. Einstein said, do something different if you want to change.
Absolutely.
If you want to expect to change, do it different.
And the solution to a problem cannot be created with the same level of thinking that created it.
That's right. You got to change your thinking process.
That's right.
And that's one thing we've talked about as well, is that, I talked about this on my radio show, you're not allowed a choice that serves your own interests.
I'd like to use this. If you go to Walmart and you get, I'm starting a new job. I need a pair of pants. They don't have what I want. They got two choices. You got to pick one. You only got so much money. If you only give a person that choice, then they really didn't have a choice to begin with, did
Exactly.
they? That's right.
I mean, just like
It's a
illusion of
metaphor.
choice.
Right, that's
You know,
why I love
use
quoting
that
the Matrix
sometimes.
like that. You know, it's like any choice you're given is still with a certain level of control.
No, that's control. You
You're
make
not,
your own
you're-
choices.
You're not given any choice that.
You make your own choices.
Right, absolutely. Just
That's
like
right.
taxes, you know, you don't
You
get a
create
choice.
your own choices.
Right,
Let's
but-
change that word.
Right.
You create your own choices.
Well, and again,
You don't let somebody give you a choice. You create
right,
your
you create
own.
your
That's
own
what we're
reality.
here for. We're to do our own stuff, not somebody else.
That's right.
And that's what the whole government thing
So then-
is to beat you back from that. You know, where
That's right.
they'll tear out your home.
Well, they've done that. They've done that from the giddy up.
Absolutely.
All of, I mean, it starts in the school system when they start dumbing the children down, and so on and so forth.
It starts even before that.
And
It starts
before
with
that, because
birth.
I was in school
Yeah.
before I came
It
to
starts
life.
with birth,
That's right.
vaccines, fluoride water,
All of that crap.
Circumcision.
Yep.
All of that crap. We were given the ability to heal ourselves and to heal others.
That's right.
All of that crap.
So how about this? And I was just thinking about this when like everybody was saying like all these profound things. So how about this?
I hate that
How
name
about
that way.
it
Tough as
doesn't
nails.
matter. Like
That's
we
right.
have convinced ourselves. Each person frees themselves or doesn't free themselves. Like I say, and other people say, like, you know, I'll pass around these counterfeit bills, but I'm not going to pay any taxes on them. You know, somebody can tell me that I cannot do this with a gun, but I'm doing it on camera. So like, you know, or when we go down to the General Assembly and somebody says to you, you can't smoke cannabis in Virginia. And, you know, we just pulled out a Bible, pulled out the United States Constitution, and then we did it because they can't tell us anything. They can tell us all the things that they want. But like Wes was saying, non-compliance. I don't comply with anything. Anything that the government says, I'm fighting against it. And that is it's not me. I'm not a smart person. I know things only because I know when I hear the government say something, I know the opposite is actually correct.
And it's scary how true. I tell people, hold on, it's scary how true that is. You know, whatever, if you're looking for the truth, take the official narrative, go 180 degrees and look around.
Amen.
And you're already
And that's it.
95% closer to the reality of
Arab
things.
terrorists? No. Israeli Mossad.
Right.
Yeah, like 180 degrees different. Except when you really know what's going on, and then you know the Israeli Mossad and the CIA and the Jesuits and the Zionists and the bankers, they all control all the Arab terrorists, Jewish terrorists, Christian terrorists, atheist terrorists, all the
Let me
terrorists.
say this. If you know the language of love, then you know all languages. There will be no language barrier.
There's no
That was
language
created.
barrier.
We created the languages.
Right. Yeah,
And
we
you know,
spell
we
them.
created them, and we can create a
Use
new one.
words.
Well, and that's what's
It's
great
spelled.
too about language. You know, again, love quoting George Carlin. Language always gives you away. Just like I said at the Fed rally, mortgage literally means death pledge. It's
Right.
not even hidden.
Right.
Just look at the exact word.
Mortgage.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's
If
look
you're going to
at.
decipher a word, you know you have to know how to decipher it.
That's
you
right.
Look at the etymology of the words. You know, just like people say, "Oh, the Second Amendment doesn't say that." No, it says.
I like
on.
to change words around all the time.
Right,
So-
but that's exactly what they do. You know,
Well, you know, me, myself, I know what they do.
Absolutely. You just
Yeah, it says
regulate.
that. It says I can regulate it right there. Yeah, but when they wrote it, regulate meant well supplied and well armed and well trained. That's what it meant. You know what I mean? So when we read Shakespeare, do we say, "Oh, cometh"? So what does "cometh" mean today? No, we read it what it meant when he wrote it. So why are we changing it with this? You know what I mean? That's what I don't get. I try to tell people that you read Shakespeare in today's words, but you go back and see what that word meant in the 16th century, whatever year it was. But you know.
If one wants to comprehend things, they do what you do, Lewis. If one wants to live in their own delusion, they do the opposite of what you do. And unfortunately, I would say most people at this point want to live in their own delusion, which is fine. Which is fine. I think the problem really lies in the energy from the masses of people who want to be slaves. People who want to be slaves of the system. They're like crabs in a barrel and they want to bring everybody else down with them. But what we've got to show them and what we will show them is
gotta pull them
They-
up out of that. You gotta pull them back
They
up.
will be much
That's all it is.
happier
They got their energy.
when they're living
look,
under the system.
their
that-
energy's been stolen from them. That's all it amounts to. They just got to know what we know. That's all they got to do. They just got to know. If they know what we know, then it won't be no barrier. And they'll say, hey, we're not taking this shit anymore. Kiss my ass, and they'll go on.
And again, that's the power of the people, waking up enough people to say, we're just not going to do
Well, they've already woke up.
Right,
They've
well,
been
whether
awake.
it's nullification.
They just had to play their role out. Hey, look, they've been away. They just had to play their role out. We're all on live stage. Okay? Sometimes you got to play 2 or 3 roles.
That's right.
You got to remember that. Those people that you think that don't know nothing, they know a hell of a lot.
Well, I think a lot of people deep down, they do.
But somehow they had to make people believe that they didn't know what was going on in order for them to be where they need to be at right there, right now.
They made a choice.
Hotel California.
Look, I told you about those choices now. Look, when people are given no choice at all and they've got 2 to choose from, they never had a choice to start with.
Right.
They didn't create their own choice. Someone
Correct.
created it for them.
Absolutely.
That's how that works.
Right.
So, I've heard about those choices. Okay, I got some crack rock. Am I going to smoke a crack rock? Well, somebody put it out there. Who the hell put it out there? Wake up. They didn't know we had chemists that could change that crack rock to not even be shit. They didn't know we was fucking with them either, did they?
Right. Well,
I mean, people are so stupid. They're the ones that need to wake up.
Well, that's another beautiful thing, I can't remember what show it was, but talking about, the whole drug thing and all that. Something that costs, $10 in Mexico, you cross an imaginary line and it's worth $100. That's magic.
Right, magic. That's
It's
right.
magic.
That's how they operate. It's all magic.
It's all music.
No,
It's
they don't
all
know magic. I know
deception.
magic.
They practice magic when a judge